Hey guys, it's Katie. Welcome back to my channel. I am so glad that you're here. Today's video is a video that we do every month here on my channel, and it's going to be my wrap up for the month of March. I had a very interesting reading month in March now, looking at all the books that I read. Most of the books that I read were actually off of Libby, so I don't have like the physical versions of them. I think there's only 4 books that I have physically, which honestly is kind of unlike me. Normally I read a lot of the books that are on my physical TBR, but I don't know, I was just kind of wanting to read very specific books and I just didn't have them. And as we all know, I was on the book buying ban. Did I make it through the book buying ban? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. I am literally so proud of myself. There were a few times where I was feeling a little weak, but I didn't do it, and I'm really proud of myself. I know book buying bans don't solve everything. I know that a lot of people are like, Katie, like, you shouldn't do that, blah 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 blah, but I think it does help me with not buying books that I know I'm not going to be reading for a while. I've been really trying to stick to that, because if I'm not going to read it in that moment, why do I need it for right now? What's the reason? You know. Let's go ahead and get into the stats for the month. I read 9 books in the month of March. I read 2 memoirs, 2 fantasy, 3 romance, 1 literary fiction, and 1 cozy mystery. And I also finally got a 5-star read this month. Not just 1, but 2, which I am very excited about. For me, 5-star reads are very hard to come by, so the fact that I got 2 this month, I am literally just like overjoyed. I'm so happy about that. And let me know what other kind of stats you guys want to see. I feel like those are just like the very basic stats. Maybe next time I'll do like the number of pages I read, or like the average rating or something like that for the month. Let me know if you're interested in that at all, or stats at all. I don't know. I find it very interesting, so I thought it'd be cool to include. Before we get into the books, I do want to say that they're probably going to be out of order a little bit, which honestly doesn't even matter like what order I say them in, I guess. But I'm just saying, if you follow me on Goodreads, they might be a little bit out of order, because I feel like I read books kind of like in groups this month. So I kind of want to talk about them with like the group that they're in, if that makes any sense. So let's go ahead and begin. We're gonna go ahead and start out with the 2 memoirs that I read this month. I don't rate memoirs, so I'm just gonna go over them very quickly. I guess I will say I will rate a memoir 5-star if I like took a ton of stuff away from it and it's gonna be one of my favorite books ever. But if it's not a 5-star, I just don't rate it, because I feel like it's not fair to like truly like rate people's personal experiences. It just kind of feels like weird to me. Anyways, I read Behind the Wand by Tom Felton. I am a Drinko girly through and through, so I had to read this. And then I also read Despair by Prince Harry. These were both narrated, because I listened to them on Libby, but they're both narrated by the people that they're by, which is super cool. I love listening to memoirs specifically rather than reading them because of like who the narrator is, because I think hearing the people's story from the people themselves is just super interesting and just kind of like a cool thing. It almost feels like very intimate, like they're telling you their story even like you don't know them, like parasocial relationship type thing, if you know what I mean. Anyways, Tom Felton's was basically just about him and Harry Potter, his acting career, things that he went through later in life that a lot of people didn't know because he wasn't trying to be in the public eye later in his life. I found it very interesting, obviously, because I love him and I love Harry Potter. And Prince Harry's was obviously about him growing up royal, his life, how it felt like dealing with the loss of his mom, and just all the struggles that he truly went through. And a lot of it actually was about him trying to find who he was as not only a royal, but just as like a person, and what he wanted to do with the influence that he had, which I found interesting. And it's basically like split up into 3 parts. So the first part was him whenever he was young. The second part was him just kind of like going through life, a lot of like his military background too in that part. And then the third part was basically about him and Meghan, which I thought was really, really cool. I find their whole story and the royal family in general just very interesting. So I did really enjoy both of these memoirs, and I definitely recommend them if you are interested in these sort of things. Okay, and then we have our first 5-star read of 2024, which is Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez. If you're interested in watching me read this and just like finding a 5-star read in general, I did upload the Journey to a 5-Star Read video this month, so if you want to see that, go ahead and check that out. This book is basically about 2 doctors who meet each other, and at first they don't really like vibe with each other, they don't really like each other, but they're both going through so much, and it's just kind of like a hard time in life for both of them, and they both have their own deep struggles, but for some reason they just keep getting pulled back together and pulled into things, and they do things for each other that normal strangers truly wouldn't do, just because they're very kind and like genuine people. Specifically the way these 2 characters connect and relate and just love and try their best to understand each other. Jacob in this book has severe anxiety, and it's just always like controlling him almost, and I think the sweetest thing ever is that he literally talks about how like oh my god, I'm literally gonna tear up right now. He literally talks about how being with Brianna, like his mind just like clears, and he feels like she is like the first person to truly understand him. And Brianna's just like this bubbly, happy-go-lucky kind of girl, but she only has like true anxiety whenever she's thinking about Jacob. She only really worries whenever she's thinking about Jacob because she just wants what's best for him, and that's whenever she overthinks, and that's whenever she spirals. And there's a little bit of but oh my gosh, there is a little bit of miscommunication in this book, I'm not gonna lie, which is not one of my favorite tropes. I really don't enjoy it, but it gets away with it because it makes sense, because they truly just want the best for each other, and these two characters mean so much to me. And just the representation of anxiety in here, I have never truly related to book characters like I did in this book. I'm literally tearing up right now if you can't tell how much this book means to me. This is a book that I will probably think about for the rest of my life. It was incredible, and I thought it was so beautiful how they both found each other whenever they were both going through like such deep struggle. I am not doing well right now. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna stop talking about this book before it makes me really sad for the rest of the day. But 5-star. This is beautiful. This is amazing, and it's just a contemporary adult romance. If you are in the market for a book that's gonna make you laugh and cry and just like love and believe in like the goodness of people, this is that for you. Highly recommend this book, and I'm super excited to read the rest of Abby Jimenez's books. The next book I read was Mary Jane by Jessica Anya Blau. This was a book that was highly recommended last year, kind of like around the spring and summertime, just because it gives those vibes. It reminds me a lot of Daisy Jones and the Six, just because it is set in the 70s, but just kind of has those same vibes, because basically this girl named Mary Jane is a nanny slash babysitter for the summer for this family, and the dad of the family is a therapist, and he has 2 people who come to live with him just because this guy needs like severe therapy, and he's actually like a rock star. So Mary Jane gets to spend her summer with these people who are very like free and just like have this like young spirit about them, and they just totally accept Mary Jane with open arms even though she's not a part of the family, and they just love on her. And Mary Jane's home life is just completely opposite of that. She lives in like a very like strict and very proper, very almost like judgy household where she feels like she has to be like perfect at all times, and she can't wear low-cut shirts. She has to wear her hair a certain way. She has to be socially accepted in like her mom's eyes, and she basically grew up like learning to be a homemaker, so she cooks dinner for these people, and they just like love her so much and accept her for who she is. And yet her parents like can't really do that. Like they just didn't love her the way that she needed to be loved. And whenever she truly like accepted the love from this other family, she was like starting to realize the difference and how like the way she dresses and the way she acts and stuff like that like doesn't define her. And I don't know, I thought this was like very interesting. I think I'm gonna rate this like a 4.25. I really enjoyed it and I highly recommend it. It gives like all the summer vibes, and the way Mary Jane thinks is just super interesting. The book was just like very captivating. It was also like a very quick read. Actually, maybe I'll rate it higher than that. I don't know. I really enjoyed it. I know it's not like a 5-star, but it is something that is just like truly related to. Like I felt Mary Jane's struggles and like her thoughts and stuff like that, and it was just like very interesting. I love books that are set in the 70s. If you guys have any recommendations of books that are set in the 70s, let me know. I'll put like my final rating or what I think fit right up here. But yeah, highly recommend this book. You guys should definitely give it a try, and I feel like it's just perfect for like the spring and summer. Next up, I read The Heartbreak House Share by Emily Merrill. I really enjoyed this book. It's basically about a girl named Flick. She just went through a breakup and she was living with her boyfriend, and they'd been dating for a while, so she really thought there was going to be like an engagement soon, and then they ended up breaking up, and she ended up having to move into a house share. And this book is set in London, so house share, like you get what I'm saying. It's basically just like she has to live with roommates now instead of her boyfriend and her partner, and her life just like drastically changed at the drop of the hat, and she had no idea what was going on. And then she decides to make this 20s list, aka like a 20s bucket list, and her boss figures out about that, and then it becomes a column for her job because she's like a journalist, and it just becomes like this whole big thing that she never thought it would be. I really did enjoy this book. Do I personally connect to her struggles and what she's going through in my life at the moment? No, and it's been a long time since I've truly like been through these things, so I don't think this was personally a great book for me and what I'm going through, but I could connect with the characters, not because I've had her struggles or I'm going through her struggles right now, but just because like I understand them. I understand that that would be hard. I understand that your 20s, especially especially your young 20s, because she just graduated college, are such a time of change, and it's just like a very crazy time of life. I highly recommend this book for anybody who is in their 20s right now, or if you're going through a breakup, if you're in your first job post-grad, if you're just trying to like find who you are and find yourself and stuff like that. This would be a great book. There is a little bit of a hint of romance, but it's mostly just about Flick and her journey, which I really did enjoy. I personally wish there was more romance just because I didn't really relate to her journey, like I've been saying, but the writing was great. I definitely want to read more of Emily Merrill's books, and you guys should definitely give this book a go because I think it only has like 600 reviews on Goodreads, and it definitely deserves more. This book deserves a lot more hype. I feel like a lot of you guys would love this and relate to this a lot, and it was just very cute and very fun, and it's just like the perfect 20s book. Same with like Happy Place. Like these two books, if you're in your 20s, are a must read. I think I'm gonna rate this book like a 3.75 or a 4. I'm not too sure yet. It wasn't an absolute favorite, but it definitely has like a long lasting effect, and I enjoyed it. It was cute and fun, and also had a great message, which we love. Then after that, I read my first cozy mystery like ever. I didn't even know cozy mysteries were like really a thing. I just seen this going around Goodreads a lot lately, and it's called Finley, Donovan is Killing It. It's basically about this girl who, she just went through a divorce and she has 2 kids, and she's just trying to like figure everything out, and she's an aspiring writer. I mean, she's not aspiring, she is a writer, but she's really struggling with what to write right now because she writes about like romance and sometimes mystery and stuff, but she doesn't really like feel inspired, I guess. She doesn't feel inspired. And one day she's talking with her editor at like a Panera, and she's like, I don't know what to do. Like, what do I do? Like, I'm really struggling right now. I don't know how to get this book done and get my deadline done and stuff. And then this woman hears her, and then somehow she just involved with finding these bad men from the mob and like murders them, but like not really, but, like she's kind of like framed, but like not really, and like she didn't do it, but she is involved, and like she was trying to because they were gonna pay her a lot of money to get the job done. And she's just this like innocent like mom, like she would never do it, you know what I mean? Like, so it's just kind of like weird for her to be doing it. There is a little bit of romance in here too. I don't know if that's why it's considered cozy, but there is a little bit of romance. There's honestly like a lot going on in this book, and it's kind of crazy. I think the first like 30% I was just kind of like snoozing, like I didn't really enjoy this book that much. And then once we started going and things started progressing, I was like, hold up, wait, like this is kind of interesting. And there was just so much going on, but like in a good way as we kept going. There's like a whole series of these apparently. I don't know if I'm going to read all of them, but this was just a fun, cute, cozy mystery. I think I'm gonna rate this like a 3.5, 3.75, around there. It wasn't like my favorite ever, but I did enjoy it more than I honestly thought I would. If you're looking for just a fun, quick read, I feel like this is a good choice for you. And I'm not gonna lie, the drama was like kind of crazy in the end. So yeah, check this book out if you want to just like have like a fun quick read. And then I read Practice Makes Perfect by Sarah Adams. This book was so cute and fun. I read When in Rome last year around the time whenever it came out, and these are 2 interconnected standalones. They're both in the little small town of Rome, Kentucky. The first one was about a famous pop star coming to the small town to just kind of like have some peace for a little bit and kind of like get out of the big city life. And this second one is about a flower shop owner who has lived in the small town for her whole life. She's kind of like a goody-goody. Her name is Annie, and the pop star is still in that town, and her bodyguard is in that town. And basically the whole thing for Annie is that she just doesn't know how to date. She doesn't know how to like talk to men and stuff like that. And so Amelia, the pop star, gives up Will, her bodyguard, to teach Annie how to like date. So he's basically like her dating teacher. So there is fake dating, which we love. And I just thought this was the cutest book ever. I think that it was fun too because Will is like a little bit more like edgy. Not really that much in all honesty, but he has tattoos. So like he's deemed as like a bad boy from the outside, but that's not like truly who he is. And I just thought this was so cute and fun. I feel like any Sarah Adams book is just so cute and fun if you're looking for something very quick, very light to read. I think I'm gonna rate this like 4 stars. I did enjoy it a lot, and it was just very cute. Like I said, I feel like cute is just like the definition of this book. And Will and Annie are so cute. She's like big into reading too, and like he would like take her books and like read them because they were romance books, and then like he would like try and reenact it. I just thought that was so adorable. Like that is literally like the dream for us readers, and I just thought that was so cute. So yeah, I think I'm gonna rate this like a 4 star. And then we're gonna end off with the 2 fantasy books that I read this month. They're both a part of a series. I don't know if you can tell, we've got some missing right here. So I continued the Throne of Glass series this month. I read Air of Fire by Sarah J Maas and Queen of Shadows, which are books books 4 and 5 in the Throne of Glass series. If you don't know much about Throne of Glass, the only thing that I can really say, since these are books 4 and 5, I don't want to give anything away, and this series is kind of crazy. There's a lot of plot twists, a lot of things that you don't expect. So the only thing I'm going to say is basically the first book starts out with our main character, Selena Sardothian. These are in third person, and they do eventually start to follow a lot of different characters, but it's really not confusing. If you are scared to go into this series because you think it's just going to be too much for you or be confusing, don't be. This series is incredible. This series is also not that hard to understand, in my personal opinion. It is a masterpiece so far, and I'm not even finished with it. But basically, it's about Selena Sardothian, and she is an assassin. She's like literally like one of the most talented assassins like ever. And she ends up in these trials, which is like a classic fantasy book thing, but that's just the first book. And basically the reason why you go through the trials is because she has to be in the kingdom for you to find out other things, for them to be planted in other books and stuff like that, and everything connects, and it's literally just so genius. This book is when the fantasy of the whole entire series really comes into play. You meet so many important characters in this book, and it was just so good. I think I'm gonna rate Heir of Fire 4.75, and then this book was literally absolutely insane. Like, if I thought Heir of Fire was good, this book is literally Heir of Fire on crack. This book is a 5-star. I am obsessed with this book. I don't know if the rest of the series is gonna compare, and I'm kind of scared for that. The amount of tabbing I did alone, like, I'm literally obsessed with this book, obsessed with these characters, and there are a few characters in the last book that I wasn't truly like sold on, but this book sold them for me. This book was incredible. I'm never gonna stop thinking about it or talking about it, and I just love this series so much, and I'm so excited to continue it. FYI, I did read this book in a reading vlog, and I think I read the first 2 books in reading vlogs too, not Assassin's Blade, but Throne of Glass and Crown of Midnight. So if you're interested in seeing me read this series, you can see me read them in there. I'm also coming out with the Throne of Glass reading vlog very soon, whenever I finish the last 3 books, obviously. So maybe around May, end of May, June time, that reading vlog will be coming out. I am so excited for that reading vlog, and I've already had so many of you guys like ask about it, so that'll be coming soon. And yeah, I don't know, so excited for another 5-star, obviously, and I just love this series so much. Okay guys, those are the 9 books that I read in the month of March. Let me know if you guys have any thoughts on these books at all, or any books that you guys want me to read. Leave that down below in the comments, and then also comment the flower emojis, because spring is basically here. So comment down below some flower emojis if you stayed until the end of the video, so I know who the real ones are. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you did enjoy this video, and if you want to keep up with my daily life, go ahead and follow me on Instagram, TikTok, Goodreads, especially Goodreads if you want to keep up with what I'm reading in real time. And yeah, that is basically it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed hearing about my reads for the month of March. If you want to check out my April TBR, go ahead and check that out. I already have that up. And yeah, I hope you guys are having a wonderful day, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys. I'm literally crooked. Please link tripod racks down below, because mine literally shrinks and it's crooked. Love that for me. Love that for me. Okay. Was Mary Giant, okay.